And I don't know how many people heard of this, but how many people heard that for 2024, we're expected to top over 2 million new cancer cases for the first time ever. We are now producing more cancer than ever before in the United States. Over 2 million new cases. Okay? And here's why that is a problem. Because supposedly, over the last couple of decades, the amount of advancements that we have made in healthcare, right, have been immense. You know, new life-saving drugs and all these different things like that. But when you take a step back from that, remember now I posted a statistic, and I've been sharing it for quite a couple months, that your chances of cancer have risen since 1980 from 1 in 30 to today 1 in 3. 1 in 3 people today have a chance of contracting some form of cancer within their lifetime, and that's on the high side. A lot of people say it's 1 in 2. All right, 50-50 chance of getting cancer. Even though we've had all these advances in medication, all these advances in healthcare, if you will. And I talk about this a lot during, you know, the race, and when I talk about the race for the cure. And it's almost like a game of smoke and mirrors, except when you see a post like that, because it's right in front of you. They want to distract you over here and say, look at all the cures we have, while they're increasing the amount of causes. And I think the average person needs to wake up to realize that the solution that they're presenting to you for the problem is not out of the goodness of their heart. As a matter of fact, the truth is that they're creating the issue so that they can come and present you with the solution. Because you would think that there would be a national emergency, some kind of press conference that would have occurred to announce that for the first time ever, we're going to have over 2 million new cases of cancer. But no, there's no such announcement. There's no such of anything. And why is that? Because the truth is, it's actually good for business. They want you to only focus on the cure because they're intent on you contracting cancer so that you can now become a customer and have to purchase the cure. I saw a statistic that it's kind of sickening. But one of the reasons why they celebrate the cure so much is because they expect the average person who actually dies from cancer to probably contract cancer at least 2 to 3 times before they die, so they can actually get more money out of you. So that's why we celebrate the cures. If you look, you'll see, well, the mortality rate of cancer, less and less people are dying of cancer, but more and more people are getting it. And what does that actually mean? More money. Imagine if I can get more people to get cancer, right? And less of them die so they can get it 2 and 3 times. Okay? Can you imagine that? And when we look at our food, right? And mind you now, this is not cancer rates skyrocketing all over the world. We're supposed to be the most advanced country, the best healthcare, all the everything, right? All right. And yet, we are producing the highest rates of diseases in the world, and no one's alarmed about it. They got you arguing about black and white. They got you arguing about gay and lesbian. They got you arguing about everything else other than the things that affect us all. Because I don't care whether you're a Klansman or a Black Panther. You know someone who's died of cancer. You shop at the same grocery stores. You're eating the same toxic foods. And you're succumbing to the same diseases. And so are your children. Unless you're willing to wake up. Unless you're willing to change your eating habits. Unless you're willing to unlearn a lot of the things you thought you knew about health. Okay? You know, I talk about this all the time, and I love to bring out the facts to people. Somebody says, how do we protect ourselves? You protect yourself by educating yourself. Okay? That's how you protect yourself. How many people know the one nutrient that is so important to the human body, the one vitamin that is so important to the human body, that the human body makes it on its own without your help? How many people know what nutrient that is? How many people know what nutrient that is? If you know, write it down. Don, you've been paying attention. Vitamin D3. Do you know one of the most important components to vitamin D3? Cholesterol. Have you noticed the all-out war that we have in this country on cholesterol? Do you know why? Because a body that is low in cholesterol is also going to be low in vitamin D3, which is also going to be immune compromised, which is also going to raise its susceptibility to cancer, stroke and heart problems, depression, anxiety, and hormonal imbalances. Yes, Alzheimer's and dementia as well. When we look at the list of things that we lead the world in, what do you see? Alzheimer's, dementia, depression, anxiety, cancer, obesity, and a whole host of immune compromised diseases. Do you think it's an accident? Do you think it's an accident? Okay? Because if you think it's an accident, check this out. My dad owned this very popular bridge in New York, and I can sell it to you for cheap. If you're willing to believe that that is an accident, right, then I got a bridge to sell you. All right? How do we protect ourselves? We start by educating ourselves and the people around us. I mean, once again, you know, I don't believe in conspiracy theories. I don't believe in far-fetched anything. Everything that I just said right now, right? You can find out in a quick search. It'll take you less than a minute. Okay? Quick search. We are actually programming, I shouldn't say we, the system is actually programming you and your children on how to create disease. You notice that every day you see on your TV, the ads that are run all the time are for the very same foods that will lead you, as I always say, the foods you eat will lead you to the drugs you must take. The very same foods that will lead you directly in the grasp of the pharmaceutical companies. When you look at campaign financing, you know why they won't have public financing of campaigns in America? Very simple. Because if they had public financing campaigns, that would take away the grip that the corporate interests have on your politicians, and they would actually then be beholden to you. Because you would dictate who they work for and what they get. But they're beholden to the corporations, and those corporations largely are the pharmaceuticals and the food corporations, which make more money when you are sick. I really wish people would wake up. Okay. I really, and once again, part of, and some people say, well, why don't you talk about health? This is health. This is why you're struggling with your health. This is why your kids will struggle with their health. This is why your kids today are obese. Because even when you're trying to do better, right? The people who are put in charge, who you put in charge to protect you, to look out for your best interests, are not doing that. And it proves in the numbers. How is it in 2024 we are now seeing this acceleration of cancer and no one is asking why? Why is that? When you Google right now, you can go and Google it, health conditions due to low cholesterol, you will see number one on the list is cancer. Cancer rates rise, or cancer chances rise in people who have low cholesterol. Number two, you will see hemorrhagic strokes, so heart disease and issues like that. All those things related when your cholesterol is low. Depression, anxiety, you will see that. Alzheimer's, dementia, you will see that. You will also see hormonal imbalances. So why are we demonizing this thing so much? Well, because if we can create this fear of this thing that, by the way, and I've mentioned it before, but for you, some of you guys who don't know this, your cholesterol levels are not controlled by the food you eat. They're largely dictated by your own body. Your own body creates the cholesterol. Your body, your liver, creates the cholesterol. And cholesterol is created in the body to help you heal. Now, a lot of times what's happening is that your body is reacting to some of the things you're putting in your body, like the things that are highly inflammatory, like seed oils and excess sugar and all those things like that, right? That are damaging your body, so your body's releasing cholesterol to try to heal, because cholesterol is one of the building blocks of all cells. Every cell needs cholesterol. So then what did they tell you? Cholesterol is the bad guy, and not the things that are causing inflammatory response that cholesterol is just responding to. When you remove those things, okay? When you remove those things from your body, you find that your cholesterol numbers, 200 is nothing. What is that? That's not a bad number. It's only bad because they said it's bad. But you cannot find one single disease, right, that is associated with high cholesterol. Not one. Even the blockage of your arteries is not because of the cholesterol, it's just because of the seed oils that cause oxidation in the body, and then they harden the plaque. However, when you eat certain foods that are high in vitamin K2, what does vitamin K2 do? It helps to clean the plaque out. We have to educate ourselves. All right? We have to educate ourselves. We have to stop eating these. First of all, we have to stop taking the word of corporations and organizations that literally profit off of our illness. We have to stop taking their word for our health. Okay? We have to stop taking their word for our health. Cholesterol is just a transport molecule. That's all it is. Okay? Someone says, what foods give K2? Eggs and other foods that they tell you not to eat. All right? I mean, and I always have to remind people of this. 70%, not 7, 70% of Americans to date or higher have at least one chronic disease that requires a prescription medication, not over-the-counter stuff, a prescription medication, 70%. That is well over half of the nation that is, by definition, sick, chronically ill. Okay, because that's what prescription drugs are for chronic illnesses. Okay, 70%. 75% of America are overweight and working their way towards obese. Obesity is listed as a disease, a chronic disease at that. And we have almost half our nation, if not more, that is obese. There's no national emergency about it. There's no outrage and outcry. Over a third of our children are obese. And so many of them are taking pharmaceutical drugs for one thing or another. And we pass it off as normal. Why? Because we've been dumbed down that much. Okay? Pharmaceutical drugs are wrecking your health. I see people take pharmaceutical drugs for years on end and they wonder why their body starts to malfunction, because those things, those chemicals don't belong in your system. You need to detoxify your body. Start there. You need to come up with an eating and a diet plan to get you off medication. How many people, let's be honest, okay? Let's be honest. How many people listening to me right now, show of hands, right, are taking prescription drugs for something? And if you are taking one, please put I am and say one. If it's two, put two. Be honest. How many of you right now listening are taking a prescription drug for something? Be honest. And if you are, once again, say I am and put the number next to it. How many drugs are you taking? How many different prescription drugs are you taking? Okay? And while you guys respond to that, let me ask you this other question. Does your doctor, have you ever heard your doctor discuss with you or present you with a plan to get you off of those medications? What's the plan? What's the plan to get off it? And I'll be willing to bet you that the answer is that there's no plan. They've never presented you with a plan to get off it. All right? Chi-Town Peach says her reflux is horrible. All right? Would it surprise you that I've had somebody do a 30 or 90-day program, and within maybe about 30 or 45 days, somebody who was taking medication for acid reflux for years, they don't have to take it anymore. High blood pressure, diabetes. Why? Because I work with people to get people off medication. Your doctor's not doing that. Your doctor is profitable when you're on it. Okay? Period. And guess what? Our system is perfectly fine with you being on medication. Okay? Perfectly fine with that. So you have to explore your resources if you plan on getting yourself healthy. Or you're going to take those pills, okay? You're going to take those pills for the rest of your life. And that rest of your life is not going to be a very pleasant one. I see somebody says, but if you're in pain, then so what? Then what? Well, I'll tell you what, if you're in pain, first of all, let's find out what the source of the pain is. Okay? Because a lot of times when we have a problem with that nature, we don't attack or go after the root cause. What's really causing this pain? Okay? What's really causing this pain? But most people want this, the short route. What do you want to do? You want to take a pill. Oh, I have this thing. Can you just give me a pill? I've helped people who literally were diabetic for 20 years. I think I saw Melody Low here. Melody was diabetic for 11 years. Dawn Marshall was a diabetic. People who have been obese their entire life. 90 days to 180 days later, 50, 60 pounds gone. How? Teaching them about their body, teaching them about their food, and having them understand what they're doing to themselves. They just stopped poisoning themselves and they started actually eating actual good food. If you're on a prescription medication right now and you have not formulated a plan or asked someone to help you with a plan to get off it, every day going forward, when you wake up to take those pills, you have to make the acknowledgement that you're doing that because you're choosing to do that. Okay? You're choosing to do that. Because you can do something about it. It doesn't matter what your health condition is, because I've seen people throwing out different health conditions. It doesn't matter what your health condition is, right? 95% of all diseases, disorders, and ailments that we suffer today can be resolved and or improved with a change in lifestyle and dietary choices. You can't complain about having a disease and taking a medication and thinking that it does not have, that you can't get any help when you're still eating the same foods that cause the disease. You're eating the same foods that cause the disease. Okay? And all you're doing is you're popping a pill that gives you temporary relief. Temporary relief. Okay? So listen, 1 in a million. Here's the thing I will tell you and anyone else who is on prescription drugs. Even if it's not me, seek some help. But if you want to work with me, here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't do excuses. Okay? It is going to require a change in your mindset and a change in how you view food. Okay? Even diseases like neurological diseases like MS, depending on how much damage you've done, first of all. However, it can still be improved. Because a lot of your neurological diseases, do you know what's causing that? Chronic consumption of neurotoxins. Do you know some foods that have neurotoxins in them? A lot of your artificial sweeteners. There's tons of write-ups about this. A lot of the heavy metals you consume on a daily basis that are now messing with your entire system. So the cleansing of one's body and the changing of one's diet, right, actually gives your body the opportunity to heal. I literally have a gentleman right now, I posted about him maybe about a month ago, right, that he had kidney failure. When he went in after a heart attack, they found out he had like almost full kidney failure. He had 3% function of his kidneys, right? He did the detox pack, he cleansed his system, and we changed his diet. And over the last year and a half, his kidney function has now started to come back. The same kidneys that doctors will tell you cannot, once they're damaged, you cannot, he's actually on the transplant list. But his kidneys function has gone from 3% to 12%. He's lost 45 pounds. He eats differently. Unless he told you that he was on dialysis, you wouldn't know it. But what did he have to do? He had to make changes. The body can heal itself from almost anything. You just have to give it the opportunity to do so. And how do you give that body the opportunity? Number one, stop poisoning it. Number two, start eating properly, hydrating properly, and taking the proper supplements that help your body get back to its place where it is balanced. And a balanced body will rid itself of weight, will rid itself of disease, will rid itself of pain. But it has to be done in that order. Okay? It must be done in that order. Okay, so if you're serious about it, once again, you can visit my website, you can book a consultation, you can click the link in my bio. I believe the consultation link is there as well. You know, and I would love to work with you, but only if you're serious. Okay? Only if you're serious. And I answered the question about MS. Change your diet. But first of all, you have to believe you can be helped. Okay? You have to believe you can be helped. Because if you don't believe you can be helped, then it's a waste of time. But we've read all the stories of people about people who had stage 4 cancer and were sent home to die. And they changed their diet and they're still here years later. You've seen direct testimonies from people who are diabetic, had high blood pressure, had many different things, you know, psoriasis, kidney issues, acid reflux, neurological issues. Now, once again, it's kind of tricky when it comes down to neurological issues because it all depends on how much damage has already been done. But one thing's for sure and two things for certain, a change in lifestyle will improve. You can always improve. But what you will never do is improve while you're still sucking down the same toxic and poisonous foods. It doesn't happen. You will never improve while you sit there doubting. Because once again, if you're eating the standard American diet that has led many people to an early grave, trust and believe it's not that difficult to improve from there. And we see the results of it around us. 2024, the most cancer ever produced, and no one is outraged. That's how much we've been lulled to sleep. Something to think about. Anyway, like I said, if you want to work with me, you know, reach out, book a consultation. I would love to work with you. Send me a DM if you want to. I would love to work with you. But I always tell people this, okay? Be serious. And take it seriously. All right? Nobody's going to just blurt out a diet plan for everybody. What's the diet plan? When people ask a question like that, there's already doubt in your mind. Okay? You have to believe that you can be helped, first of all. And once again, don't take my word for it. Take a look at the people that I have helped before. Take a look at the people that other people have helped. Okay? Because 9 times out of 10, your situation is not unique. Okay? And you have to believe that changing your diet to a healthier diet will make you healthier. It can't hurt you. Okay? And it's never too late. So if you want to start somewhere, start by cleansing your system. Take a look at the detox stack. All right? Take a look at the detox stack. Start there. But I always recommend to get an actual full layout of your diet and your lifestyle. I remember just talking to somebody today. There were at least 3 things that she was doing, and mind you, this is somebody was a nurse. At least 3 things that she was doing that she thought was healthy. She thought was fine. Okay? And those 3 things, if you were on the Fit for Life challenge, you would understand, were the very holes in your bucket. You know, a lot of times when we have issues, health issues, the first thing we're looking for, right, is what can I take? But we have to also remember that there's this thing called addition by subtraction. Okay? So it's almost like going and you come and I have a bucket that I had filled with water, and I come back and that bucket is half empty or empty. Well, the first thing most people would think to do is to refill it with water. The first thing I think to do is, well, let's see and plug the hole first, because the hole is what's causing it to be empty, not a lack of water. Okay? So you have a chronic disease, you have a problem right now. The first thing I do on a consultation is I go through your diet and find out what's causing this. Because unless you fix the cause, the root cause, it will persist, whether it's pain, whether it's diabetes, whether it's heart disease, whether it's obesity. As long as the root cause is there, filling the bucket will not help you. You have to fix the hole. You have to plug the hole. And that's what we do first. We find the hole in your diet. Sometimes the hole's in your mindset. Okay, sometimes the hole is in your understanding of things. Once we fix the hole, we have a new idea, right? Now we can pour in the bucket, because now the bucket is set to retain not only good food, but also information. And then we see changes happen. But it has to be done in that order. So what I don't do is I don't just start saying, take this, do this, take this. No, what are you doing now? Because what you're doing now has led you to where you are. So we have to find what you're doing now, listen to what you're doing now, and find, okay, we need to stop doing that. This needs to stop. This right here is one of your biggest issues. And then once we do that, we find things that you can do, sustainable habits that we can put into your lifestyle that actually now start to move you towards a healthier existence.